another episode of Learning to Fly podcast. Today I have the honor to have Alisa on here from Alisa Ray Pools. Welcome, Alisa.
Thank you for having
me.
me.
Let me get the laundry list out of the
Okay.
way. This show is it sponsored by you guys yet? You guys picking up the tab?
Sure, absolutely.
You heard it here, folks.
Is
Our
it
first
tax
sponsor.
deductible? Or?
It is.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay,
it
we
is.
do that.
This show is sponsored by Basham Construction. We're open to other sponsorship as we grow the show. We are growing. So, anybody that wants to be a part of the show, potentially on the show, get with us. I'm not hard to find. My number's everywhere, emails everywhere. And, so welcome to the
Thank
show.
you.
Where's your dad at?
Where is my dad?
Is he digging a pool right now? It's
no,
17
we're
degrees
doing a
out.
renovation, actually. He is on a job in Carmel.
Oh, yeah.
Why we have 4 guys up there ripping out a pool.
In December?
Yeah. They would rather be there than having to go work somewhere else, though.
They're ripping a pool
They're
out
ripping a
in
pool
December.
out in December.
And they're going to put it back in December?
Oh, over time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll just kind of, depends on. This is probably as cold as will work.
Yeah.
But.
Because he said, I remember when we started this
Yeah,
podcast, I think we invited you guys
Yeah,
back in like July or August or something. And he's like, hell, wait till it's cold and snowy out. So I did.
Yeah,
it's cold
well,
and
you
snowy
did, you
out.
did.
He says some again still working.
He
So
is.
daggone you, Chris.
Yeah, between his house and so I sold. It's my fault. I sold them, so now they have to work.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
I am. You are the sale. We're gonna
Okay.
get you your title here in a minute.
No, that would be cool if you can decide what that is.
What it
'cause
is?
I'm not really sure.
Well, Chris told me. He texted me.
Oh, okay.
No. I'll start where I met your dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I started Basham Construction in like late 2018, officially in 2019. And I won't use first names, but Mrs. Corbin, she knows
Yep.
who she is, called me to build a pool house.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like my first like new construction job.
Okay.
This is when I changed from Honeydews to Basham Construction,
Yep.
probably the first year or whatever. And I thought, holy cow, this is kind of neat. This is in a very nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But she said that the pool guys have to get this pool in first, and then you can get in there. And I had to kind of tie into it, so I had to work with the pool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea who this guy was. So she's like, well, Chris is over here. He's a nice guy. So I wheel in there in my truck, and I said, hey, I got to get a footer, blah, 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 blah. He's like, well, get at it. I said, well, I got to tie into your apron. He's like, okay. He's like, that's fine. I said, well, maybe we could pour this thing together, like work together. Because I worked with some other people, and they were not very easy to work with in terms of other subs. Because I tell you what, dig it, and I'll let you know when we'll work together. Anyway, make a very long, boring story short. He ended up being one of the nicest guys to ever
Hear
work
that a
for.
lot.
Yeah. And he's a big old guy, old rugged guy. You wouldn't want to cross him. But the nicest guy in the world. And so I felt like, I was like, man, I'm kind of a construction guy now. This guy's actually talking to me, and I'll never forget it. We were done with that
Give
job.
you some validation?
Yeah, well, it didn't come yet.
Oh.
So 6 months down the road, we saw each other on another job and kind of got to know each other a little bit more. And then another probably 6 months, I met him at the gas station. Not met him, we were just pumping fuel at the same time.
Speedway?
Yep, exactly. I looked over there. I said, hey, Chris. He goes, hey. You know how he talks.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you up to? I said, I'm working. He goes, oh, still doing that construction thing? I said, I'm never going to stop. And he goes, there you go. And we just started talking, and ever since that conversation, we said some more stuff, but I'll leave it at that. Our relationship took off. And I remember I don't know who I was telling this to. I said, man, I met probably one of the most influential guys in construction.
Wow.
His name's Chris Ray. He's cool as hell. And him and I feel like we're on the same page. So I'm going to cling tight to that guy. Fast forward another couple years, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 pools later, we're on some similar jobs, and it just felt like family.
Yeah.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
And I remember telling him on a job that we'll just keep close to our chest.
Yeah, we will.
I said, I got a good one. And I said, you guys got to do this pool. I'm doing the house, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, if they want to spend some of that money, I think we all need a little piece of it. Let's go put that pool. That's just his mindset.
Yeah.
The way he said it was very like cool. It's like, let's go get that pool in for him, and let's get that house built, blah, blah, blah. So I just appreciated his, I guess his patience with me.
Yeah.
His demeanor. And more importantly, probably is the most important, his character.
Yeah.
His character is unbelievable.
It is, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Then we were doing a job in Plainfield, and I got to meet your brother, probably your younger brother.
David.
David.
Yeah.
And he goes to the gym. He's a big boy.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to mess with him either.
Yeah. He's bulking right now. So.
Is he bulking? He was crying the last time because he had to work in the rain.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. He wouldn't. No, I love him too.
Works.
So I talked to
He's a hard
him at the gym, got to know him a little bit. And I just saw something. I was like, you're just like your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met you.
Yeah.
And holy cow. I was like, this lady does not let grass grow under her feet. And that is kind of how I am.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking, I'm like, this is a family business. I'm a family business. I've got a lot to learn. So I have been soaking in everything you guys have done from day one,
awesome.
And it won't stop.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I want to say thank you for that. You guys are a wonderful family. I've never seen a family-run business so exciting
to work with each
watch.
other and work with each other, yeah.
And everybody is super skilled. They're very, very good at what they do. And I just want to say you guys are kicking ass and keep doing it. That is very, very cool to watch. So, how's that for an intro?
It's great. Yeah, I mean, I hear that a lot about my dad, and I think I can speak for my other siblings that, we take pride in knowing that our dad is known that way, that he has, people hold him in such high regard. He's humble, transparent, and he's so honest. And when you can have all three of those, there's not a whole lot that you can do to upset somebody. I mean, like, we can make mistakes on the job, but if he's always correcting them, he never lets us like, we'll let that one slide. You know, you own it up. You go to the customer and say, look, this doesn't happen very often, but we messed up here and we're going to make it right. Yeah, it's going to cost me $1,200 to bust this footer out, but that's what we're going to do. And he can sleep at night knowing that he taught us, what to do. He showed, us the how to handle a problem that you don't just cover it up, and so that customer will be a customer for life.
Yeah, for life. I've noticed that, like, any mistakes, because as a younger guy, when I say younger, it's not like in years, but a younger business owner, let's say that. We're kind of like a kid again. In a regard. So you look up to the guys that have been doing it for a while, and that's been doing it very well for a while, and you kind of mimic them a little bit. Absolutely. You don't want to be just like them, because guess what? They only made one of you. Yeah. They made one of me. I think they made two of Jeff, though. It's like a Swiss. He's everywhere. But I've seen – I had a guy, like one of my Mount Rushmore guys on, Alan Eshe, and I'll probably talk about him on every podcast, but he kept talking about train wrecks in life. And that doesn't mean it has to be like world ending or, season ending or anything like that. But every job, I feel like you have some train wrecks on every job. Every pool you put in, there's probably an obstacle. There's a customer issue. There's oh my gosh, somebody buried this in the backyard. There's always something, right? There's always a small train wreck or an obstacle to overcome. And watching him and other business owners that have been doing this for a while overcome obstacles and challenges, they're not all the same. Right. I've seen, a 30-plus, 2 or 3 generational owner react very, very, very poorly. Yeah. Versus like one like me, I'm the start of my business. I'm the guy that got it started. Most businesses have 2 and 3 generations worth of street cred.
And you started
2019.
Okay, so you know when my dad started, right?
17. Yes, so. I read that.
That's really interesting.
And I was going to bring that up. Let's talk about it now. Yeah, I'm shocked. Yeah. I was sharing with Jeff. We had 20 minutes to ourselves. We got to just shoot the breeze as friends, and that was kind of nice. But I said to him, "You want to learn something cool?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, Cedar Ray Pools, I thought they were in business for 200 years. Yeah. Like, that's how it feels. Right. Yeah. Chris started that in 2017.
And
I bought my house in 2017.
So he's worked for two very, big, well-known pool companies that he helped kind of bring up from the ground up. So got a lot of experience and never thought that he could go out on his own. And in 2017, he and my mom made a decision, like, this is what we're going to do. Maybe we can build it big enough to have something like for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I had spent most of my summers growing up working with pools, with, the pool company he started at. Steven started working on pools when he was 12, like going in every summer with my dad. So we had been around pools. It's kind of been our life, in one way or another. And so he knew so many people. He had so many connections that he was like, I'm just going to do this. And he jumped right in.
Mm-hmm.
And he started with, I think he had like 10 pools his first year, maybe, subbing everything out, and then slowly brought, my brother Steven, who's 2 years younger than me, brought him on, and then decided to buy our location on 40 and have a retail store. So brought my sister on, and then David came on after that, and then me. So
okay,
yeah.
David just got married, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I follow you guys on social,
yeah.
so you kind of pick some of that stuff up.
Yeah, the baby, he got married.
Yep. Yeah, the baby, the family. Yeah, don't mess with him. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
he's strong. So the place on 40, he got that in 17. The office.
No, we got that in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019, I think.
Gotcha.
So it was a couple of years. He ran it out of Seabrays ran out of his house in Plainfield. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So that still blows my mind. 2017. That's only
Well, he's been since 1995. He
what
dug
was
his
the
first
tipping
pool
point
in
for him,
1995.
do you think, to do that?
A very personal one.
Yeah.
I think he finally got to a point in his life with things that he had to overcome that he thought, I can do this now. He was in a stable place personally and thought, this is where I need to grow. I don't think he felt before this that he would have been able to do that.
That's interesting. You never know when the time is right to start something on your own.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was standing, who I was talking to when I made that mental decision. Mm-hmm. I've shared this before. I had $5 in my pocket, for real. I was talking to
my parents had 300. So.
I was talking to Chris Jones.
Yeah.
I was talking to Chris Jones on the phone. I was standing in the corner of my kitchen, really just like, dude, at that time I was 40, something like that, 41, something like that. I'm like, man, I need to get it together. And I'll never forget that I hung up with Chris, and Chris Jones is responsible for a lot of business owners.
Okay.
I mean, you talk about a selfless individual. He's one of them. He's the kind of guy that will he'll get you to believe in yourself. It's like, I don't know why almost make you stupid for not doing it, right? So I appreciate that, Chris Jones. But I wonder, the older you get, it's probably a little more difficult to make that decision. I don't know.
Yeah, and then have all four kids work for
that
you.
Right there.
Yeah.
So you got 4 households. That's a lot of responsibility.
And they're all your kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I've got a lot of people that count on me to make sure we're busy.
Yeah.
But they also work for themselves. So it's like, hey, a little of the pressure's off. You look at like Colonel Sanders. I mean, he started his when he was 60-something.
Yeah.
So you're never too old and you're never too young to chase your dreams. So go chase them.
Yeah.
They ain't going to chase you.
And like you had mentioned about like people you look up to when you started, he had some very influential people in his career that are now, I mean, we just had our Christmas dinner and 2 of them were sitting in our Christmas dinner 2 nights ago from 1995, that have supported him and believed in him since the beginning. I mean, they're like family now. I mean, people that are part of our supply network. And I think that has been huge. So my dad is just so relationship focused. He everywhere he goes, he knows somebody. last week we were sitting in Longhorn having a business meeting, and he looked over, and there was this older gentleman and his wife sitting in the booth. And he goes, I put a pool in for that guy in the 90s. He went over there, started, having a conversation, told him where he lived, what kind of pool he had. It's just incredible. Like, he really takes it to heart, and takes people. He loves people.
Yeah, I could tell that.
Yeah.
I could tell that just how you guys' business is.
Yeah.
I don't have to be in front of you to know that. You can see it through your social media. And especially if you're on the job site, you can feel it. It's it's very, very unique. It's very hard to do that, but it's authentic. And I think the only way you're going to get that is by being authentic, being real, not being afraid to make mistakes or any of that. You got to be real. I think people are drawn to that, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, we're at a different time of our lives where there's a whole bunch of change. We're not going to get into politics, but just a ton of change, a ton of good opportunity.
Yeah.
We live in a land full of opportunity. Every time I go on vacation, I get all depressed. I don't talk about this much. I don't like spending money on big trips. It's so weird to me because we could do something else with it. But every time I come back, I'm like, man, I just drained X amount of dollars on this trip. But I get this sense of, I don't know what you call it, just gratitude knowing that when I come back home, I've got all this opportunity. It's up to me to execute it.
Right.
But there's so much opportunity. There's so many places that people don't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And to me, that's cool.
I think to be an entrepreneur, to be blessed with being able to go out on your own and make what you want, I think is, it's just a blessing.
It is.
Not everyone has that opportunity because they don't have the mindset of what it takes. I mean, I'm lucky I don't necessarily have to work. My husband does well. That I never was really looking for a job until this came about, and this opportunity to work with my family. And
tell us your story.
Okay.
Tell us that here. Give us your
sure.
Your
so
roadmap.
Like a little bit about me, or
just give us your background, how you started working here.
Okay, well, so numbers have always been my things. I was in investment banking for quite a few years until 2015 when I became a stay-at-home mom. We had our second child, and we lived in Michigan at that time. My husband was going to do his residency there. And then we moved to Maryland. He was in the military. We lived there for a little while. So,
what's his name?
Chris.
Thank you for your service, Chris.
So we were there, and it was, my kids were getting, older. I mean, they're 9 and 15 now. So this was 2019, I guess. So Dad had been in business for a few years. They were growing extremely fast. At this point, 2 of my siblings were working for him. And I being in investment banking prior, I had seen things happen to families that weren't prepared. There's something happened to a family member, and then an estate wasn't planned. It just would tear families apart. Last thing I wanted was to have that happen. Now that my parents own this business, like, I'm not a part of it. My siblings are. Like, I didn't want to cause any issues. So I made them an appointment with an estate attorney here in January of that year, flew back here, and met with their estate attorney with them to get a trust set up. As my dad is kind of discussing, the business and all.
So you took that upon yourself to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
so
me.
I want people to catch that, because this is how she is at Sea Ray, and it's a good thing. So keep going.
I am definitely like the caretaker, I guess, of the family to a fault. So I came back here, and just listening to my dad talk, and knowing, my brothers and my sister involved, like I said, you have a different mindset being an entrepreneur, and I know that they weren't wanting to be the ones that, like, if something were to happen to my dad, like, what would they do? Like, I don't know if they were, ready to make a step forward to, like, take this on. And that really concerned me, like, their well-being, their, like, what would they do? And so I was like, Dad, I'm going to have to get involved in this, aren't I? And he's like, yeah, if you can.
Like, yeah, if you can.
Yeah, that would be great. And so I kind of came on like just doing, I was like, okay, I'm going to learn QuickBooks. I'm going to learn how to do all this accounting. So I'll take over all the books, the accounting, payables, receivables. Then
Jen, are you listening?
Then I love numbers, so I really this was like amazing. And then they had all the, I was like, how are sales like who's doing these sales calls, like, or whatever. And well, Dad's just doing them, but I got about 70 leads sitting here written on paper that I don't know when he's going to get around to these. And I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to come up, and I'm in Maryland. Okay. So, and then COVID's happening, right? So I ended up figuring out how to sell 25 pools from Maryland.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that. I wasn't as plugged in as I am today, but I remember that. And I was like, how in the heck is this going to work?
Yeah, I did it. And I would fly back here every so often to go on site and meet with a customer with my dad. And every time I got to do that, like it just became, it fed my soul, really, like to be able to know that I'm helping my family, getting to spend this time with my dad.
That's amazing. It fed my soul.
It fed my soul.
That is awesome.
Like I am blessed that I get to work because I want to, not because I have to.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's work, right? Your blood, sweat, tears, it's everything. Your whole being, and to know that you have that and because you want it is like amazing.
You're building and leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
And that's something not very many people get to do.
Right. Yeah. And my dad and I didn't always have like the best relationship when I lived here, and then being away, I got to do a lot of soul searching work, mental health, therapy work, and this really, I always was looking, I guess, there was just unsaid things between my dad and I that this fixed, and nothing ever had to be said. So
really?
The validation he has given me through being able to do this job, and he is giving me so much control to a fault. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want that much control, but he has handed me the keys.
He trusts you.
He trusts me so much.
You know what that means? I'm a dad.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's stupid to say it like that. It is for a father to trust your child, like your trust, like with the wallet.
Yeah.
Is hard to do. It's very, very special.
And him being able to do that, letting me figure out a new process for sales, letting me figure out job costing, trusting that I'm putting away. And I learned, I had to pull this out of him. I basically took what's in his brain, all his job costing, how he did everything, and put it on paper and made a plan with it. And him, doing that, wanting to spend time with me was, I mean, there's nothing he could have ever said to me to apologize for things in the past or talk about things that have happened in the past that would ever have healed as much as us working together has done.
Man, that's interesting. That is.
Yeah, usually it's the opposite, right?
It is, yeah. It really is.
Yeah, so.
But I wonder, we don't have to do a deep dive into that, but I wonder what clicked to make that just kind of go away, though. You know what I mean?
So I stayed angry for a long time.
Okay.
And I had a therapist ask me, if he apologized, what would that look like? Would that make you feel better? It's like, no. I mean, no. Like, what I wanted was validation. Yeah. A validation that I mattered. Not that I didn't matter, but, like, I took a lot of responsibility on as, being the oldest of four. And, there were times that he should have been there and he wasn't, and so her saying that to me, like being like, well, why don't you go after the relationship that you want? Why are you waiting on him? Like, if you want a relationship with your dad, go after it. And that is a hard thing to hear when you are, when you're in victim mode.
That is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I'm being for real.
It is the key.
That is raw, it's real, and it's valid.
Yeah.
And that is cool. Every family dynamic has issues.
Yeah,
we all have
absolutely.
issues.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. My God, I've said and done things that I'd regret, right?
Yeah.
We all have. But to be able to get over that hump, so to speak, because there's resentment, there's all kinds of things that can challenge you. I just had a podcast with the oldest son, and I kind of told him the same thing. You have two decisions in life. When stuff hits you in the face or smacks you in the face, your train wrecks happen, you wallow in it, or you get out of it.
Yeah.
You don't have three decisions. You have two decisions. I'll keep it PG today. And that's where it's at. Really, you have one, and that's to figure it out.
Yeah.
And going after that relationship you want is key and critical, but not a lot of people know how to do that.
No, and it took, I don't want to say he didn't do anything. He was doing his own thing on his fixing himself. And for a while, I was like, well, that's not fair. Like, why are you working on yourself and not involving me? Like, when I was still in, like, a selfish mode of, like, he is supposed to be all of the relationship, rather than, like, let's meet in the middle. This is our story together. This isn't you did this or I didn't do this. We have a story together and what we can build upon. And one of the reasons he's so successful is because he has never not okay with saying he's wrong. How did I put it? Like, he's okay admitting, like, that wasn't the right thing to do, or yeah, I messed up there. He does not let his own pride get in the way of being like, I will fix this. And I am never afraid to bring it up to him. So that worked very well. So if I needed to bring something to his attention, like, hey, I don't like how you talked to me this way, or I don't like how you didn't include me in this, I will talk to him about it, and he will reflect on it and be like, you're right. And how could I have done this differently?
Has he always done that?
No.
Okay.
So this is
as of recent, maybe? Or
since 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. He has been on his own journey to mend and fix himself. He's done an amazing job, but it wasn't until I started working with him that I could even appreciate what he's done, and I don't think he could appreciate what I've done. So I lived away for 11 years, and through those 11 years being away from home, I really worked on myself and looked at, like, what were good behaviors and bad behaviors in regards to, like, the relationships with my siblings and my parents. Like, I always wanted to be a caretaker and take care of my siblings, and I wanted them to do certain things a certain way because I knew this is how you should do it. This is how you save money. This is how you go to college. This is how you budget, all of these things. So I didn't really get to be like a sister so much to them, and now I can be. So I don't think this ever would have worked, me coming on and working with them, had I not done all of that work for myself to be able to have healthy relationships with them.
Man, that's great. I don't think my dad, I'm going to talk about my dad a little bit. I don't think he ever apologized to me. Like when my dad and I have had some, he's not with me anymore. We still have a great relationship if you want to look at it that way. And when he died, we had the best. We were at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I didn't talk to my dad for 2 years. I had some personal things go on and made some horrible decisions. But I'm glad it happened. Yeah. Not the decisions, but glad I went through it because it did change. Men, I really feel like most men, like real men, your dad's a real man. Yeah. There's not very many real men left in this world. Have to go through hell and back at least a couple times to figure them out. We have so much going on and so do women. I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
But from like an entrepreneurial man, that it's all on you. Like if you don't go to work, you don't eat kind of a concept. That wears on us for a while.
You put yourself on an island.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I would tell him all the time, you're that man out there on the island.
I feel the same way. I talked to my mentor, Alan, though,
Yeah.
and he says you shouldn't be alone as a leader. And I'm like,
You're exactly
I'm still
right.
wrestling with that. He's not wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it takes me a while I'm like your dad in terms of I got to think about it for a minute, and then it just clicks, and then we're good. I've learned the lesson, so to speak. But that relationship between like father-son is really all I know in terms of that. I'm fortunate enough to have 2 daughters. Ashlyn's out of the house. She has a grandbaby. Levi is my little buddy. I love him. But Brooklyn's 14, and Bo is 14. They're twins.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were.
But they're so different. Mm-hmm. Like, the relationship I have with Bo is cool. The relationship I have with my daughter is cool, too. But they're so different.
Yeah.
My daughter, I told her, Brooklyn, she's a lot like you. I said, don't ever be afraid to come at me. Mm-hmm. If I piss you off, I want you in my face.
Yeah.
Just know that I've always got your back, and I always love you. Yeah. There ain't nothing you can say or do that's going to change that.
I always, no matter what our relationship looked like in the past, if my dad said he was going to be there, if he was, going to do something, he did it.
Hell yes.
So I have always felt that I had this foundation under my feet that, when times were really hard for me, like I would go to my dad, and no matter what the relationship looked like, because I know that he wasn't going to falter,
right.
Like he wasn't going to be like, yeah, well, I said that then, but, and that's all very important for a daughter and a father.
Yeah, it's probably the most critical.
Yeah.
If you boil it down, it's probably the most critical.
Yep.
Yeah. I had a thought.
The
beautiful and the worst part about podcasting, I get so involved in the conversation.
And then you forget.
But I'm also like, I got to talk, so I get lost in my thoughts, so we're not professionals yet. But, I know what I was going to say. I've lost both my parents, and I'm not I don't bring it up for sympathy. But when I lost my mom, like, she was my rock in terms of, I would talk to her about, like, spiritual things. I would talk to her about, like, man, I don't know if I'm if this is the right decision, blah, blah, blah. She was always so encouraging, like, to a fault, to where I felt a little bit invincible when she was around. I'm like, man, I always got her. She'll give me solid advice. Well, she dies. Like, I'll never forget, it's a Friday. Both my parents died on Fridays, and it's ironically Friday the 13th. And today is actually her birthday, to be honest with you. That's a no-shitter. It's a true story. December 13th. Wow. It's also Taylor Swift's birthday. Shout out to Taylor.
Oh, well, you have 2 girls. I know that's probably, I know that, right?
But, so fast forward, I lose Mom. Prince died the next day.
Oh, goodness.
So weird. So weird fun fact. Fast forward 4 years, and my dad dies. I was FaceTiming him, having a cigar, rubbing it in, and he literally died, like,
oh my goodness,
in front of me. The reason I bring this up is those were my 2 biggest kingpins in my life, right? And when they're both gone, now all of a sudden it's on you.
Yeah.
But each of my parents' deaths were so different, so different. And I look at my sisters because they were so close to my parents, especially my mom. Most daughters, when you have little kids, it's like you're tied to the mom a lot. Well, when Mom died, I couldn't grieve because I had to, like, take care. I didn't fill her role, but I was, like, really, really worried about my sisters. So I just, like, put all my stuff aside.
Are you the oldest?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why you and I are very, very similar.
There is something about the oldest child.
So I'm like, I got to put my stuff aside. I got to take care of them. We're going to, do whatever we got to do, fill Mom's role, so to speak, get them whole again, and then I can grieve. So I did my thing, and then Dad dies. The most interesting part about death is finding out how people react to it, and it's not really the emotional side. You really find out how big of a void left you.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind that it's like Dad's loss. In my sister's eyes, they talk about that more than they do my mom. Again, don't get me wrong here. It has nothing to do with who loved each other. It's just that father role is what I'm getting at. There's something different about it. It doesn't get talked about a lot.
Right.
But especially a father-daughter relationship
Yeah.
is so special that I don't even know if I can describe it well enough.
You can move mountains.
You can.
You will
really,
move
truly
mountains
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that my mom wouldn't. I mean,
No,
my
and again,
mom is
don't
this,
get us this twisted. This
Yeah.
has nothing to do with moms or dads or better. It's just I've noticed that there's something to it.
Yeah, there is.
That people don't talk about.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even seeing my husband and our daughter, you know, and how she looks at him and the situations that she wants him in. You know, I can see they're different than when she wants me. I feel like they're.
And I think it's okay. It's obviously okay.
Absolutely.
It's just so different.
Yeah.
That confidence. That's one reason I loved. My favorite sport to coach was girls softball when Brooklyn played, and I hate baseball and softball. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about it. I'm that dad that I know all these other dads ain't gonna do nothing, so I'll coach, right? And then I get criticized for it. It really helps with the morale. But it goes.
I coach softball too.
Yeah.
I coach my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where were you 5 years ago? I could have used you.
Oh, God. I mean, I was probably only 17 and coached my sister.
But
yeah.
I love, there's something about building a young woman's confidence. And I've talked about it on other podcasts, other players or whatnot. But like Brooklyn, when she was a little kid, she'd cry over her shadow.
Is one of them more like you? Or
they're both like me.
they're
And they're both like
you.
their mom too.
Oh.
They really are. It's kind of a weird dynamic or a cool dynamic. But Brooklyn specifically, I was in her ear all the time. I'm like, there is nothing you can't do. And she'd get all nervous. Well, as she grew up, she got into horses. She got into all these things. Now she's a theater kid. And she's like, well, Dad, they make fun of theater kids. I'm like, bro, we talk like this.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I've watched you do musicals, and I've watched you do all these plays and all this stuff. And I'm telling you right now, you come home like you were playing a sport. You're dancing, you're singing, you're out of breath, you're memorizing stuff, you're collaborating with other people, all these things. I said, musicals, that's no different than playing football. I know it's not as grandiose as because everybody likes football and baseball and basketball, all the main three, but there's a lot that I overlooked that she's doing so many great things, but in her mind, just because it's not popular, she doesn't think it's worth nothing. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I would put you up against any athlete because of your mindset.
Right.
You may not be able to drain 10 3-pointers in a row, but who cares?
Yeah.
But I know one thing, you're 15 minutes early every day, and you work when you get home, and you give it all you got. And when you're done with that event, I know you laid it all out on the table.
Absolutely, yeah.
So those are the things I'm trying to teach and instill in my kids. And that belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Because once you believe in yourself, I don't care who, nobody can tell you can't do nothing.
It's funny because people are like, oh, Alyssa will figure it out. And yeah, I do. I figure a lot of things out.
Sure.
I mean, that I don't feel like there's anything out there that you can't, if you break something down into like categories and you rationalize each step of something, you can figure it out. You don't have to be an account. Not to say that it's not important, but like if it comes down to you need to get something done, like you can do a good enough job to get, from A to B. If you, I think a lot of us will just stop and not try something because that's just not my field, or that's just not. Or
fear stops them.
Or fear them. Like, oh, well, there's no way I didn't, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to put a spreadsheet together. Well, just YouTube it.
Yeah.
And try,
oh my gosh.
And try. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, because I break things or.
I want to share a story about you and your dad. This is a recent one. He moved.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he bought a nice
4
house.
minutes from me now.
How much?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Man, that's awesome. I remember driving to this new place the first time. I was like, Ryan, I need help, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be there. That's what we do. Friends drop what we're doing to help friends, and that's what we did. But we were talking about his kitchen and all this other stuff, and your mom. I've never met your mom till then.
Oh, okay.
I love watching her chase him around the house, just like they're chirping. And,
goodness. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. But we were talking about.
46 years or 40, yeah.
Is that right?
No, wait, I'm 41, so 42. 42 years. I'm married, yeah.
Wow.
You're watching, sorry.
No. You're great. You're fine. I remember us talking about like AutoCAD and putting this kitchen together. I said, I'll get Tony. He'll come do that, blah, blah, blah. And Chris and I are walking around, and we come back to the kitchen, and here you are on your iPad. I'm being dead serious. You had half this kitchen designed.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get at, when she says YouTube it, there is no reason for anybody under the age of 25 to ever, ever, ever be broke. You have YouTube. You have all the things at your fingertips that we never had as kids. I mean, I'm 46. You're 41.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when YouTube came out.
Yeah, I do too. And I thought this is the dumbest thing I ever saw in my life.
YouTube.
And now we're on it. So thanks, YouTube. Appreciate that. Jeff, thanks for getting us on YouTube. Gosh dang. Steph do too with the website stuff. But I just want to go back to, like, you just took that upon yourself.
Yeah.
And we were only gone for 30 minutes, and you had this thing. You said, I got this app.
Yeah.
And you had it all laid out. I said, heck, what do you need me for?
Well, that was a skill I had to, my dad did all the drawings for pools by hand.
Okay.
So I learned how to scale and everything on paper. But then I was like, there has to be a faster way to do this. I can learn how to draw these pools, these backyards on an iPad, be able to send them off to customers to get them signed off on or whatever. And so that's what I did, and learned how to do it and do it well enough that it works, and I can save a lot of time that way.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. It's like art to me too. So, So if I really enjoy it, then I really like to put myself into it. But I mean, my parents let me design their whole house. Yeah. So I was
curious if they let you, or if you just told them this is what's happening.
No, I really tried to be like, Mom, do you like this? Is this what you want? Like, I want you to get what you want. Because I would normally, like, probably 5-7 years ago, I would have been like, absolutely, there's only one answer, and it's my answer. Like, this is the way you do it.
So you were a little, like, bullheaded?
Oh, my.
Okay,
yeah.
let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a little bullheaded, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ask Jen.
Because I feel like I had done it all. Or not, whatever the situation was. Like, well, I've already done this, made these mistakes, made these gains or whatever. So I know exactly how you're supposed to do this. And so I'd want somebody to do it exactly how I had it set up and be upset if they didn't. So
you would be upset if they didn't?
And my siblings, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, especially with my siblings. Not really. Well, probably my husband, too. He'll probably say that. But my siblings, I definitely, especially Stephen and Crystal, they were probably afraid of me. That's what they probably were when we were younger. Yeah. Because I was more of a, not afraid of me. They've told me, they didn't want to disappoint me.
Okay.
That's what
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not afraid. It was I just care so much about them and their well-being that I feel that I can put in all this effort to try to make it easier for them so that they don't have to, which ends up hurting them in the end, if they're not learning this skill on their own. And so that's kind of something I learned over the last decade while we were, being away from them, being able to take a step back, that I wasn't involved so much in their, daily life, that I was able to work on those past scenarios and go through them and what was right and what was wrong, and then how to move forward with a good relationship with them now. And we're all extremely close. I just spent the last 7 hours with them in the office.
Yeah.
But we also appreciate each other and what each other can do. Like going back to the business, we each have a skill set, and it fits really. We just kind of fit in roles, and we let each other do it, and we trust each other that it's being done.
I think that's the key right there.
Trust,
yeah. I often sit and not analyze, but just really stew on what people say.
Yeah.
And I catch on that trust piece is probably the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't trust that, I've got some guys that work with us, not for us, but with us. that I trust them with my kids and my wallet, right? I tell every customer that. Like, I'm not hiring anybody I don't trust with my kids or my wallet. That's probably the best thing I could say.
Yeah, that's good.
But there are some subs I don't trust that they're going to be there on time, or maybe not that day, right? They won't let me down, and they haven't. Well, the ones that are with me still haven't.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't obviously know the story of that, but that's a big deal. Like, true trust and belief, like you're going to be there. Like, Chad Cooper is my best friend. If I say, hey, I need you here at noon, I don't even have to think about it. He'll be there. Chris Jones, the same way. You don't even have to think about it. That's how your guys' family dynamic is.
You're right.
And that's very rare.
It is, yeah. And we've each had, times in our life.
Same with you, Jeff. You're in that category, too.
We've each had times in our life, too, that we've had to take a step back a little bit from the business because, personal things happening in our lives, and we're able to accommodate for the other one and not be resentful or, play the one-up game, or keep score.
Yeah.
It's very important not to keep score.
Yeah.
Or it won't work.
Because you are the team.
Yeah.
You are the team.
Yeah.
It's
so,
not...
and maybe it's because it's like, this is all of my dad is like, this is your guys' company. You are owners. I mean, technically we're not at that point, but he wants us to feel that like this is yours. And so it is our name. And we take that to every job that we, are on, that what do they think of our family? We want them to have a good impression of our family. So it's very, very personal.
You should be very proud of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys I know Chris is.
Yeah.
I know he is.
Yeah.
He speaks so highly. He gets teary-eyed every time he talks about you guys.
Yeah.
So I try not to do that because we're men, right? We don't cry.
Yeah.
We do. Man, that's special. I wish he was here. I'm kind of glad he's not.
Yeah.
I'll be real with you.
Okay.
I'm glad he's not this time. The next time he has to be here. I wanted your story first.
Okay.
I didn't tell you that coming in here. I wanted your story first. When we met at your dad's new house for that remodel, the light bulb went on with you because he said it. He goes, "You guys are a lot alike."
Yeah, he did say it.
Because he knows I'm a let's just get her done kind of a person, and I figure stuff out. But you challenge me. There's not very many people.
Oh, really?
You do.
I hope that's a good thing or bad.
No, that's a great thing. It's a great thing. You make me want to level up.
Okay.
We're not, in terms of like staffing, you guys have more employees on paper than we do. We have a lot of subs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I watch you guys. I watch who does the social media stuff?
Me.
So you do a great job with that.
But it's because it's my the
Is it
connection.
a passion of yours?
I just it's being creative.
Yeah.
It's like I get to have that creative side.
I like that too.
Yeah.
And you could ask Jeff, like some of the stuff, I'll text him in the weirdest, not in the middle of the night, but in the middle of the day, like I'll have some dumb idea, like, dude, we got to do this. He's like, oh, that sounds great. Then we don't talk about it for 6 months. It comes, like, we're constantly doing that.
I can get, especially when I first started, I had all these ideas and I was switching and, we need to do this and that way. And I think my siblings were kind of like, okay, can we stick to one thing? Like, can we stick to this program or that program? But it's like, I have to just jump in.
I'm like a fat kid at a buffet,
yeah,
man.
I mean,
I'm like, let's try everything and see what works.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to do it to see if it works.
I'm a fat man at a buffet. It's different.
But then, like my sister, she's very calculated and likes to research. And, when she makes a decision, that's because, she's pretty sure that's what she wants to go with. And me, I'm just like, nope, I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm going to jump in and try.
Look at I don't know the date. I'm going to get it wrong. The Bears, the Chicago Bulls, not the Bears. Look at a basketball team. Look at you guys. If everybody was Michael Jordan, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
But if you had Michael Jordan, you had Scottie Pippen, you got Horace Grant, you got all the people, the little short white guy, what's his name? That shot all the three-pointers. Him.
That guy.
He coaches the Warriors, Steve Kerr.
Oh, yeah.
All those guys. If you didn't have all those guys, they wouldn't have been the team they were. And that's what I try to tell my team. I'm glad that we're all different. I'm glad we all think differently. I'm glad we all have different skills. Because, man, when you put it all together, that's a hell of a combination.
Right. And you it sounds like you probably validate your guys, too.
Yeah.
And, what they do. This is the first year that we didn't have subs for our install team.
That's a big milestone.
It is,
Yeah.
and one my dad didn't think would work, but we were pretty certain that it would.
So for like your industry, I mean, that helps tremendously. My industry, I can't have an in-house electrician and in-house plumber and all that, but
we don't either. We actually, those are 2 subs, but we have 6 guys.
Okay.
And we have 2 sets of brothers, and the other ones, hold on, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, 2 sets of brothers and then 2 friends that like they grew up. So 4 of them are from Nicaragua and 2 are from Honduras.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they came here and they worked actually on our subs crew. And we just didn't like how things were being ran, so we brought them on with us. And they have been so loyal and so hardworking, and they want to be a part of what we do. So like, actually, one of them does he takes all the video and everything. I pay him weekly if he'll take all the pictures, videos. So he loves that, being creative too. So he's involved.
Wow. So he just does all that.
Yeah, I mean, he's working.
No,
too.
I know. Yeah, but that's an added task for him.
Yeah, so he's filming
That's
them
a great
dance. I mean,
idea.
I don't know how many dance videos you've seen. Our guys are out there dancing and.
I've got the best. Jeff and I were, like I said, we had a great time. We don't get that very often, but we got on your page.
Oh, okay.
And the Alisa Ray pool page.
Yeah.
And we're like, man, this is cool. The pool, you're scanning in or whatever. And we like to have fun. And I wish there was a world, maybe we'll bring it into this, to where I like comedy. I like to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I love to laugh. It's one of my favorite activities. I said, man, how funny would it be if we found some random pool and it's Christmas time, and we recreate that National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Get Chris up there, and he jumps in the pool, that whole scene. And Happy Holidays from Sea Ray Pools. Dude, that would be the most funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Maybe we'll have
I don't know if we can get him to do it.
I don't know.
In these temperatures. He would do it in the summertime. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think about it, Chris.
He's funny. Like,
and Jeff will do it. He'll do all the video for you.
He was so against social media and us, doing Facebook stuff, and now he's just like, why haven't you posted in 2 weeks? Like, why haven't you done that? And I'm like, because I'm doing accounting. It's end of year. I haven't been able to.
You know what is hilarious about that? Carrie, she works with us. She's wonderful. She does project management and scheduling, and she does everything.
She was very impressive when I listened to that podcast.
She's wonderful. Wonderful. We're very thankful to have her. But I'll say the same thing to her. Because, like, posting on social media is kind of new to us, like us old timers. Like, it's a task now. And a week or 2 will go by, and I'll mention it to her. I'm like, man, we need something to post. Our algorithms, whatever, it's a thing, And she's like, yeah. I said, but I'm not just going to repost. Everything we post is going to be new. So we intentionally have like 10 projects that we haven't. We save them back when things get a little slow. But I saw the value just like Chris did.
Yeah.
It's like, for a while, I'm like, this is a waste of time. Then you're like, oh, this is actually kind of good.
Right.
And then it's like, hey, I haven't seen us post any projects in a while.
And he'll get text messages from people and be like, hey.
We do too.
Yeah.
Oh, you still in business?
Yeah, I love your video.
no, we're busy, man. It takes time to do this. And
I got permits to do. I got contracts to do. And
Man. So maybe this is a bad question. How many pools a year do you do? Or is that even a question?
That is. We did 40 new installs this year and 2 major reconstructions.
Wow.
And we're finishing. We had 2 mini reconstructions that we just started this month.
So is it more cost effective to say we have an old pool? Well, I don't have a pool. Say somebody had an old pool. Would it be more cost effective to rip that whole thing out and go brand new, or would it be more cost effective to remodel? I'm in the remodeling industry, but we do new construction too.
Yeah, it depends on. So steel is really what you can save is the pool bottom if it was done properly, and the steel walls. So a lot of people want to like redo and do a liner over step, new step design. So we're tearing out like an old fiberglass step, and a lot of people don't want to deep end anymore, and so we're kind of bringing the depth up. It depends too, like, are we doing equipment? Are we tearing out all the concrete? But I mean,
There's just a lot
I've
to it,
done
just like anything.
$140,000 renovations that my dad originally put the pool in for like 30
Wow.
decades ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it won't save you as much as you think it's going to save.
Yeah.
Is what I guess where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's like, and it also depends on who originally put the pool in.
Yeah.
Because not every pool builder's the same.
So are all pools? I'm gonna ask some generic questions because a lot of listeners I think have similar questions.
Yeah.
So I ask them.
Sure.
Are all pools created equal?
No.
Okay.
They're not.
So do you guys put in? So I cover a lot of territory.
Mhm.
You see these other pool places that have these. It looks like Tupperware, but they're all pools. They're fiberglass.
We won't do fiberglass.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Every job I've ever seen you guys do, it looks like concrete forms. I know that's
It's
the
a
frame.
concrete bottom, concrete step, and steel front and steel wall construction.
Yeah.
And we grout the bottom so that it has a firmer bottom, not a sand bottom or anything. Fiberglass. My dad he had done fiberglass with his previous companies, and there's just so many things that can go wrong with them that it could be the way that we operate our business where we want to make things right. The catastrophic things that could happen with a fiberglass popping out of the ground, splitting down the middle, would potentially be, astronomical expense or, a lawsuit. So when you look at like the Better Business Bureau and you're looking at other pool companies, anything that like lawsuits, it has to do with the fiberglass.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got down. So I just did the numbers. So we worked 224 days this season. Had 22 rain days. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 22 rain days and 22 Saturdays. So I guess. Anyway.
You track that?
Oh yeah.
You track
that? Yeah. I track all the so I have a calendar that is very transparent to my customers. So like it's out there. Like when we're making changes to our dig schedule, they see it. So it's completely transparent.
How do they see it? Is it an app?
It's something I share with them.
So you email it to them, or they okay?
Yeah, and so then they can even save it as a little app on their phone, pull it up, and then David and I are moving things around on the schedule, and they see it live.
Did you create this app?
Yes, I did. I
knew it.
So what happened? It killed a few birds with a stone. I don't have anyone calling me asking the status. They know who's in their backyard, when they're in their backyard, and it's they know I'm not putting someone in front of them. That is a big thing.
So they're seeing your actual calendar, basically.
My actual calendar, my construction.
So
calendar.
they could go to that every day.
Yeah, and then I put rain delay if there's been a rain day, and then so I can go back and count how many rain days that we have. But it ended up being we were able to average 5 days per job that we had guys on the job with a start from excavation to rough grade was 10 days.
Okay.
And so it's incredible. David and the relationship that he has with the guys. So David does all the excavation.
He's one heck of an excavator.
He is.
Yeah.
He puts my dad. My dad was always the excavator.
Yeah.
And it took a lot to get my dad off.
I can imagine, but David's damn good.
He is. But now David is a very good teacher. And
he's patient.
Very patient. And so he validates his guys and he lets them try things.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. My mom probably.
I was leading to her.
So he's 11 years younger than me. He's a baby.
He's
so
30.
30, yeah. So he was always with my mom, and mom's patient and quiet and kind, and yeah, that's probably where he gets that. But so he's really he will look forward to like kind of pre-plan, like, well, I'm probably going to have to project manage more this year, so I probably need to get a guy into the excavator so that I'm not excavating as much or whatever.
Yeah, I do recall going back to your Baltimore days or whatever.
Or
Maryland. Whatever.
We were right outside
anyway,
DC.
out of state. Uh-huh. I do recall talking to you on the first pool. It was very bizarre. I didn't know Chris that well at the time. But then I remember, it's like last year, it was not the one we're thinking of, but another pool. I said, hey, I need to get this going. He's like, I'll just have Alisa call you.
Yeah.
I said, well, okay. And I talked to you on the phone, and I was like, now I know why.
Oh, well.
Because you walked me through that whole process, and I'm like, well, if that's all you need, then you're just going to take it from there. What a relief to your dad.
Yeah,
I mean, what a relief to your dad. When I hired Carrie, that's the feeling I have. Like, what a relief. I have some help, right?
Yeah.
Jen is coming on board at some point. She runs the shirt tails that we have together. So she is slammed all the time. And she has support over there too. So when you add that value piece, the people that really, in my opinion, build your business, it's not you, it's the people that build the business. So I shared, like Jeff does all of our videography and stuff. I hate being in front of the camera. This is a little uncomfortable to me doing this, right? But it gets you can't grow unless you're uncomfortable. So that's what we're doing. We're growing. I see value in the people aspect. It is Basham Construction. It is Sea Ray Pools. But when I look at it, it's like Alan said it best. I just want to see everybody up there growing, and I don't want no credit for it. I just want to be like, I was a part of that, and that was cool, and that's what you guys are building.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I forget what I wanted to say where Sea Ray came from.
Yes. Thank you.
So my dad, that was his nickname, Sea Ray.
Okay.
He was Sea Ray when he was growing up. But then whenever he was coming out on his own, he was asked, like, well, what's your biggest competitor? Sea Ray boats. Boats are actually, the boating industry is the biggest competitor of in-ground pools.
Wow, that is interesting.
So Sea Ray, so it was like a...
That's how that got?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years.
Really, yeah.
I just thought it was Chris Ray. Ray.
No.
That's because of the boat. Is it because if people have a little extra money, they're either going to buy a boat or a pool or whatever?
Or an RV.
Or an RV?
Yep.
An RV, Clark. See, it ties back to that.
Yeah.
We got to get him on a diving board doing that.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Even if it's just for us. Man, how funny would that be? And do a cannonball. Or maybe have you ever seen the Ron Burgundy movie?
No.
He does the same thing. Anyway, tangents. So yeah, what else challenging like this year? What was the biggest hurdle, challenge, obstacle you guys had
Seeing
to face
that we
this
could
year?
get to 40 pools.
So
that with was 6 guys.
That was your goal and you guys hit it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because we did 29 the year before.
Is that right?
24 the year before that. So going to 40 with 6 guys, you have to be extremely organized in your schedule.
And you guys are.
Yeah, and so it's like clockwork, and because it's only a 42-week season, so we had 22 rain days. So
wow.
It's,
that doesn't leave a lot of time.
No.
If you think about it.
We're really comfortable with where we're at. I think anymore. So Dad and I do all the sales calls. We figured out that if both of us go on the sales
together,
okay.
We
do all the sales. As many as here and there, I'll have to go on my own, or he'll go on his own. But we have a 53% closing rate that way.
You track that? I track
absolutely.
that stuff too. I'm a sales guy, and actually what I'm doing is probably perfect for me because I get to do both.
Well, they see that we're authentic when we say we're a family business.
That's so cool.
Here's the guy with all the experience, and he's bringing his daughter along, who is here. She's really working to help take this over. So they see that, and people want to buy into that. They want to be a part of our story.
Yep.
And we get told that all the time. Like, I want to be a part of what Sea Ray is doing. And we treat them like family. I mean, this is a lot of money they're spending. I mean, same with renovations. Like, they're spending a lot of money, a lot of trust. They really don't know exactly what is going to be going on here. And this is a place they're going to spend their holidays and their birthdays and like
all your memories are going to be made
around the pool. And we want that to be a best experience. I don't want them to have this thing in the backyard that they say is a money pit and I regret it. We want this to be something where they're going to have a really good experience and be able to have those memories back there.
Wow.
So
it's funny you say your closing rate's 53%. I track mine as well. I I haven't done it this month, but it's good. I found the similar success when I hired Carrie. She's been with us about 2.5 years now. The best, I did my training, I guess, if you'd say, my way.
Mm-hmm.
And it took probably twice as long intentionally because I wanted to do it the right way. I've worked for several big organizations, a lot of cool places I've worked in the past. And it was always such, and Alan, again, said this, it's like taking a sip out of a fire hose.
Oh,
and it's so true.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, he's taught me more than I've forgotten more than he's taught me. And I was like, I don't want that for her. I want this to work and do it well. So I have to take some time. So I said, you just got to ride with me and go on every appointment for, I said, like 3 months. Well, the first 3 months was to see if you wanted the job.
Yeah.
You know, I told her, I'm like, you may not want to do this, and that's completely fine. I never, ever want people to feel trapped. I've been in that position before, and it sucks. So let's take 3 months, ride with me. At any point you think this is not for you, just raise your hand and no hard feelings at all. Well, customers started buying into it. And we weren't selling them anything. It's just this is how it is. I'm training
you're
our
an
project manager
experience too. You're selling an experience. Like people are actually most afraid of going through the process.
Yes.
You know they hear horror stories like, are you going to even finish? Are you going to take my money? You know, and being able to, if they have two people there that are very invested and they can trust, I feel goes a long way.
It does. Yeah. And I noticed that every job we went on, you know, and I'd go back and I'd work the quote. She didn't do the quoting part. She just went. Because if we got the job, she was already familiar with it, and she would PM them, project manager.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this is kind of, at first, I'm kind of a loner. I drive my truck and I listen to podcasts and whatever. So if anybody's with me, it's like, well, I'm not going to listen to my podcast.
Sound like my brother,
yeah.
Steven.
So we'll listen to some generic music and go down the road. But I was like, man, I see a lot of value in this. And then it just worked. Then all of a sudden, the handoff to the job, they already know Carrie. They already know me. And we're all coming to the job every day. And it was always that way. Like you said, the trust and that feeling, like I would tell every customer to this day still, I will never abandon you, ever.
Right.
I wouldn't put my name on the business.
Right.
If I did, I'd call it Joe Blow Construction if I was going to do that. And we always stand behind what we're doing. I learned some of this from your dad.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to screw up.
Yeah.
We're humans. So every single person listening to this, you're gonna screw up. It's how you react to that is what separates you from everybody else.
Yep.
And
it's because the doubt, you put any ounce of doubt in that, it's over.
Yeah.
Like
you got to have confidence.
Yeah.
And another thing I would tell customers still to this day, I don't take on a single job I can't physically do myself. Sure, I am my insurance plan, right? So if not actual insurance, but I have to have that belief, like I'm not taking this on if I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason we sub out pools. I don't know how to put in a pool.
Yeah.
So you guys do. You know? So, and I'm glad that you do because we get to work together quite often. It's kind of funny. They put their pool in, and we come back in and build the pool house or whatever it is. So it's kind of a cool relationship that way. But what's 2025 look like for you guys? You guys have
I have 15.
Knowing you,
I have 15 sold.
Okay.
So
so you are almost half to your goal.
Yeah,
right?
that's why I told my dad. I was like, we need 48 more on sites, and we'll be okay to hit our goal or whatever.
So you guys travel state of Indiana?
No, it's very central.
Okay.
Most of our jobs now have been on the north side where they used to be, Plainfield.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, it's funny. When I first started, my dad was so mad if I got us a job in Carmel. He was like, I am not going up there. I hate going up there. Like, this is, it's not where I want to do my business. And so I'd have to push him to get I got 3 this year in that north side. And now that's just how it is. And now that he lives on the north side, pretty much, we're on the northwest
he pretty much
side.
does now. It kind of surprised me.
Oh yeah, I tease him. I'm like, you have a Marion County address now.
I'm kind of mad I didn't push on him a little harder to go fishing in that pond he moved from.
Oh, you haven't seen it in a while. There is Zionsville dirt, Carmel dirt, Marion County dirt.
At the new place?
Oh yeah.
Did he fill in that ravine already?
Yeah, so
Where
we
the
got
deck's
about
going?
65 dump truck loads back there of dirt that he's
Down the ravine? When he said he was going to do
No,
that, I
yeah.
said, you're crazy.
I know. He's magical with equipment.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, he can tear some stuff up though. So he had the skid steer for a week and he broke the door. So my brother gave him quite a crap
he's probably
about
banned
that.
from that.
But his dad always told him that he's like, stop going after things like you're killing snakes.
That's the only way to go after things.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, I don't see any other way.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to go for it. So it's, it's kind of a joke. But yeah, he's got it. He's totally transformed that ravine.
I got to stop by again. It's been a minute. I know.
But it's cool that like all of these different places, like I've been brought back to their property, from all different areas. I don't know.
So there's some meaning to it.
Yeah, like when in 50,000 years, when an archaeologist goes and looks up there, they'll be like, how in the world did this get over here?
Yeah, dang. Man, that's crazy. I just know he's so excited over there because he fishes a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, I just got to go down here, blah, blah, I'm fishing, catching crappie. I'm like, well, hey, you still got my phone number, right?
Yeah.
I like to catch crappie. Wink, wink, Chris. Let's go crappie fishing.
Yeah, so he's very happy. Mom's happy because she's near, my sister lives like 10 minutes away. So she's near me and my sister. And then my dad's happy because he's on the water.
Let's talk about your mom.
Yeah.
I don't know your mom.
Oh.
I know of her. I know her. I've met her. What was, how does she fit into all this?
She does a lot behind the scenes. And she's willing to take on about anything and give it a try too. But like my sister had her 4th child this past summer in May, and right at the beginning of pool season. Yeah, thanks, Crystal. No, we love little Ezra, but Mom had to take on the retail store.
Okay.
So she's, Mom's not. She likes being behind the scenes. She's not gets very nervous being in front of people.
Okay.
And so her having to take on this job, being this where she had to learn water chemistry, how to do our point of sale, and she did it. And
has she always done it from day one? Or?
No, this was just this year. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, from when my sister.
So you appointed her to that? Or?
I don't think she had a choice.
Okay.
All
right.
It was like, we don't know really what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So she took it on and did a really good job with it. I said she gets Employee of the Year for taking that on.
Yeah, maybe you should give her that trophy.
I know, right?
That'd make her day, I'm sure. What was she like growing up, though?
Oh, was the oldest daughter of 5 kids, and very sweet and innocent, and like just.
That's how I would describe her, and I don't know her that well.
Yeah, she is a busy, but she's up early. She's got to always be busy. She's got something to do, She paints that whole house. Like, I mean, she's just busybody, very busy.
So, well, that's where you probably get it from then.
Yeah, but she's busier than me.
Really?
In regards to like just she, getting. I can take me a nap. You
can?
Oh yeah, I can. Afternoon, I can take a nap.
I can't.
You can't.
That's where you and I are different.
I like naps.
Really?
It's where, but
I'm like that toddler that never wants to go to bed. I'm like Peter Pan. I don't like. Yeah.
So she's like that, but her and my dad, they balance each other pretty well. They've known each other since high school. Both from
Plainfield. High school sweethearts.
They met. I mean, they started dating after high school, but he was a year ahead of her. But they went to Plainfield.
I just had a conversation. This is a tangent. I was sharing this with Jeff, but I'm gonna have this guy on. His name's John, and then his wife's Betty. I sat down with them for an hour and a half last night. I wish I recorded every minute of it. Their journey, their life journey. We'll have them on. I'm hoping like right after Christmas. Will blow your mind.
Really?
It'll absolutely blow your mind, and I don't want to give too much of it away. But this guy has, oh my gosh. He's done it all.
Really?
He's done it all, and his knowledge on the Bible is just through the roof. And his humility and just his what the hell and back he's been through.
Yeah.
And the roller coaster of his life. And then you get to see him. He's 80. I think he's 82. He don't look it.
Yeah.
He goes to the gym, or Jeff and I go. And I met him probably 2 years ago. There's a couple older guys in there that I just hang out with, and I just soak up the knowledge. Because I know there's a lot of knowledge there. And a lot of these younger people, I still consider us young.
Yeah.
I think that is something we need to grab onto, because I don't like to keep going back to losing my parents, but that has defined me, right?
Yeah.
It's changed me,
Sure.
and in a good way. But one skill that I really instill in my kids is get to know people. Get to know your elders.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there is so much free knowledge there that when they pass away, I hope somebody captures it. That's really a big reason why I started this podcast. It's that guy over there that really tipped me over the edge. But I'm a big believer in capturing people's stories.
Yeah.
If nobody listens to it but your family, then we did something.
Yeah, right.
But my goal and my hope is the whole world listens to this stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't about me. It never will be. It's about capturing people's stories. And what you've said, and you've taught a lot of people, if anybody listens to this stuff, you will find something that you will never forget.
Yeah.
Even if it's one little thing, and that'll help define you, mold you, and make you the person you're going to be. Then once you get that, you got to figure out how to pay it forward, you know?
Right.
I shared with Ashlyn, our oldest daughter, she's in the ministry. I said, I have pastors on both sides of my family. My mom's side, my dad's side, it skipped Dad and I. I said, this is my ministry.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
In a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I challenge people to just get to know people. I know social media, I think
That's
social
not
media
knowing
sucks a
people.
little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we use it for the business, but personally, it's,
But it's so funny. I'll go to the gym and I'll extend a hand to a younger guy, and they act like what the hell you do?
Yeah.
You go talk to John that's 82, and that guy, I've learned so much from that guy in 2 hours of talking that I can't even remember it all.
Oh.
So I just encourage people to get to know people, for God's sakes. It's
that made saying ministry, like you're asking me about my mom, like she has kept God in our, like, we're a big Catholic family, and she has been that, I mean, I think
the rock
of keeping us in our faith.
That was my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the spiritual rock.
Yes. And not pushy or anything, but like it's, quietly there.
It's a constant little nudge.
Yeah. And my dad too, that's been a big part of his growth, is getting back into the church. And he gives back a lot from what he has learned from his past, and, helping other people in other ways not have to make the same mistakes as maybe he had made or whatever. So he's very, very giving when it comes to his time.
Yeah, I think, tithing is a biblical thing, like you're supposed to give 10% or whatever. I don't think that always has to be money.
No.
I think time is more valuable than money. Money can burn, money can be lost. Time can't, right?
No.
You don't make any more time. Time is what it is. So
I
think that's the most valuable one.
I mean, when you're working, it's like you're either, you're switching money for time. So you need to make sure that, like, what you're spending your time on with work, especially.
I mean, we're in this holiday season. It's the giving season. I think that's kind of a gimmicky thing. I think giving should be happening all the time. But if you give somebody an hour, like, I'm thankful that you're here because you're busy. I know you're busy. I know that man over there is busy.
I appreciate you bringing me on.
I don't take that for granted. Like, I really, really don't. This is a special time for all of us just to be together.
Yeah.
And there's one day we won't have all that, right? So that, to me, if you can give time to somebody and help coach them up, that's worth more than money.
Yep.
So. And
that's what I get from my dad. I guess there's a lot of unsaid stuff between us that happen, like, in repairing by the time we spend together in the truck. I mean, we are together quite a bit in the truck, going to jobs, and just being with him and is so valuable. Having that time, just even if we're not saying anything.
You know what's cool about that is when I started the construction thing, my kids were heavily involved. Jen was too, but she was raising kids and all the things. But I'd always have I need to get this video out there. The Honeydews commercial I shot on my iPhone off of Instagram. It was really generic, but it's so cute. The kids were real little. But I would take them to jobs with me. Mm-hmm. And back then they were like 8 or 9. So it was just really just to get them out of the house. But I knew that. It's funny when you know it as a dad, mm-hmm. the impact that you can have on your kids or anybody. You're a little more intentional about it.
Yeah.
When we would go to jobs, I would make them take notes. I said, just listen to how I talk to people. I'm not anybody. Mm-hmm. Just I'm an example for you. So pick up on what I'm saying and learn something. That's how I learned. Fast forward 5 years, going back to my daughter, mm-hmm. Brooklyn, the real timid one that I didn't think she would cry at her own shadow. That girl she's 14 and she blows me away. Oh. And I'm like, what the hell happened to you? And it ain't me. Mm-hmm. It ain't her mom. It's just she chose to listen. Mm-hmm. I'm going to soak it in. I'm going to learn the good stuff and probably more importantly the bad stuff that dad does or mom, whatever, right. and make it your own. That's really the goal, is to take all your experiences from your family, your friends, your loved ones, and then make it your own. Because going back to the whole idea, they only made one of you, right? So don't be like anybody else. Be who you are. Mm-hmm. But you're influenced by people. That's a good thing too. Yeah. But anyway, we've been talking about an hour and 20. Let's have a little fun.
Okay.
We'll wrap this up in about 10 minutes. What is the funniest, either mistake, joke, whatever that your dad has ever been a part of on a job? Anything?
Can I say my brother?
Or your brother, anybody.
Okay, so because Steven's got some good ones.
Give us something. Yeah.
He has put the heater on the wrong pool before, shown up and got the wrong address. Put a heater on the wrong pool and had to go back and get it. That's pretty funny. Yeah, he has. There was one time it'd be too long to tell, but
we got time.
Yeah, no. Steven's got some. So he's in service. He runs all of our service department.
Oh, okay.
So
that's why I don't see him on the jobs as much. Probably.
Yeah, he does all our auto cover installs, and then services all the pools. Oh, okay. He knows everything inside and out about pools, but he's not a big fan of people. So if he sees a customer might be home, he's going to keep on driving.
Oh, really?
But he will have customers, like he had one the other day, call him out of the blue and was like, I just want to see how you're doing, because they love him.
Really?
People love Steven.
Yeah.
And he is just scared to death of people.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is so funny. So, yeah.
Has he always been that way?
Yes.
So at least you know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're like, oh, well, yeah, Steven's probably going to keep on driving their home.
There's days that we don't want to talk to anybody. I get that. There's days you just don't want to.
Yeah.
But like you and I, we have to. Jeff, he has to. I ran into him at the daggone garbage dump yesterday. He said, it is dark. You got to back in this thing. And I back a trailer pretty good, don't I? Yeah. I got to pat myself on the back. Farm boy here.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm getting in there. I'm listening to a podcast, somebody's podcast. I hear, hey. I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking around. It's dark in there. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I know that's Jeff. I hear his voice. I'm doing this. I'm like, what in the hell are you doing here? It's like, business is business. Said something like that. I was like, oh, okay. We can help you unload this trailer. So I'm busy. Anyway, what I liked about that is running into y'all during the day, during the week, at odd times, and it's like a family reunion every time.
Aww.
So whenever I tell you what, if you can build that kind of relationship, that kind of culture, don't ever let it go. Just keep building on it.
Well, David's son, he's 6, and he already can run a skid steer.
That is incredible.
He cannot wait to be a equipment operator.
Wow.
So. Yeah, it's neat. Our kids are excited. Well, what can I be a part of? I want to, my son, he's 15, and he was very upset that he didn't get invited to the company dinner, because he's like, I'm the 3rd generation. Why are you taking my dad to this? He's not even a relative. Like, he's not even blood. Like, and so they're like excited about learning, or what can I do? I want to go to work with you. Even my daughter's like, well, I want to go to work with you this summer and go to jobs. And
that's the definition of a winning culture.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
That they want to be a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to build.
Awesome.
And congratulations. That is not easy to do. Do
Yeah.
you guys have... I have core values for my business, and it's something I learned a long time ago.
You know what? Actually, no. Like, we've never set something up. And listening to your podcast about that, I actually went back and was like, this is something we need to think about.
It doesn't have to be grandiose, but it's always like when I first learned it, like years ago, I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, when stuff hits the fan, what do you go to? Like, everybody needs the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need the Bible to live. It's something to go to. Well, business needs core values.
Yeah.
And it's not my own thing. I just adopted it. I'm like, I'm going to throw some on the wall, literally on the trailer. There's 8 core values.
Really?
Then we put it on our website. And I'm like, this is how we make our decisions. This is when we have a question. That's one thing I tell people. When you're in business for yourself, you do sometimes feel like you're on an island.
Yeah.
And it's all you. And that's really, you're not, but that's how you feel sometimes. And when you don't have that fatherly figure or the mother, whoever to lean on, I think those core values they don't take the place of them, but it gives you something to go to.
Right. No, I thought that was really good, and something I'd like to work with. Even though they're there, they're kind of unsaid things, but being able to put a word to them.
Just 1 or 2 words.
Yeah, and being able to kind of make it more tangible, and also to help explain it to people that are coming on, to work with us, and are they, showing these core values, because that's a big thing too. Like, you looking for that. Like, would they, we know how we would leave a job. Would they do the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, I was fortunate enough to meet a couple of my guys I look up to. I've met Ed Milet. He's one that hammers core values.
Okay.
Tony Robbins, I've not met him, probably never will. He's like the OG of all of the personal development. I think he's the one that actually started things happen for you, not to you. And I told my kids, if I can ever leave you with anything, it's that. Like, if you literally put that lens on, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You can't do the woe is me ever. You never do it, because things happen for you, not to you, right?
Yep.
So I've been listening to Ed Milet. I've been listening to Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella is not for everybody. I love that guy. It's the #1 podcast I listen to. But they taught me core values. They're the ones that said, hey, and they have the Arate Syndicate. I have not done that. I probably will not. I've listened to enough of it, but I admire it. I think it's awesome. People need to do it. But listening to those podcasts and you just take bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. That's
the beauty of it. Hearing your story, one of these days we'll hear Jeff's story. All these stories, everybody's got to take a little piece of all that. It's kind of like we're all in the same family, so to speak.
Right.
We're helping each other. We got each other's backs. That's the culture I'm trying to build. Nobody works for me.
Yeah, right.
Nobody.
Yeah. And you never.
They work with me.
You
right?
also, I think it's important as a leader, I have a lot of hats.
Yeah.
I would never throw that as a card, down,
Sure.
be like, well, I do this, and this,
Right.
It's like, I've chosen to do these things because I want to do these things, I think that is important.
Yeah, I do too. Well, I tell you what, we're going to have you back on.
Okay.
We're going to have your dad back on. We're going to get him on that diving board and jump in the pool. No, we probably won't. But I value our friendship.
Yes.
I value our relationship with Sea Ray Pools and Basham Construction. I do not take that for granted. I felt like I hit the lottery when I met your dad.
Awesome.
I really do. And then I met you all, and you guys inspire the hell out of me. I'm being for real.
Well,
You guys
thank you.
inspire me. I hope this inspires others to chase your dreams. Do the things that make you nervous, right?
And don't be afraid to go after a relationship that you want to.
Yes.
That's another.
I love that part. Yeah. Don't wait on it to come to you. You go make it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to put your guard down. You got to kind of humble yourself, but it's worth it.
The beauty is so beautiful on the other side.
Because
of it.
when you get, when you're satisfied, when you get that need is fulfilled, that you're, that relationship brings to you, when you get that fulfillment, it all just melts away. Like anything else like that may have been holding you back just melts away.
It's kind of like spring. You let the snow melt and then the flowers come.
Absolutely.
Let's end on that.
That sounds
Thank
good.
you so much for coming on. I can't wait to have you guys back on again. Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you would, please share the show. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow. We're trying to do great things, and we want you all to be a part of it. So we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.